So we're here at Daytona, and you and your teammate Brad have kind of been the Pied Pipers of the plate tracks, the super speedway, so to speak. What did we learn at Talladega that we think may translate to this race, and what will be different than what we saw here in February?
Well, I think there's a few things that really translated when we got to Talladega that maybe some of us weren't prepared for. The draft definitely acts a lot different. Harder to maintain a lead. With that big spoiler, the hole's bigger in the air, the runs are bigger, and they're harder to block. A lot easier to get to the back bumper of the car in front of you as well. So you get a lot more bumping and banging. The cars handle better, so you can kind of accept that bumping and banging without crashing as easily as it was. Not that it's still a safe thing, but we're willing to take a little bit more risk, which makes the pack a lot closer. But I think what stands out to me the most is what Chevy did. They came together and joined as one force, and they started they were pretty quick down there in Talladega, and I think that's going to force everyone's hand to adjust the way they race to try to take them down, right? And that's what we're going to do. As a Ford driver, we've been back and forth on this and going for quite some time. For years now, everyone's trying to, how do you work together to win, but how do we all win, right? And that's something that's very challenging when you get to these super speedways.
2019, only 2 wins. And when I went back and looked at my notes, it kind of shocked me a little bit because you guys have been up front a lot. Todd was on the radio earlier this week saying that you guys had a few that slipped away. But talk about the 2019 that you guys are having compared to last year, which was a championship year.
I mean, our season started off way better than it did last year. I felt like 2018, we were still trying to recover from 2017, the first part of the year. And about this time of the year last year, we started kind of coming into our own and starting to run up front more, lead more laps, starting to grab a couple stage wins. The next thing you know, the wins started coming. And this year, I'd say we fired out of the gate strong. We had the fastest car multiple races, and we didn't capitalize on getting the victory for a number of different circumstances that came up that we should have been better at to not have those. But I feel like recently the field has gotten a little bit more, I don't want to say competitive, but closer. It doesn't seem like there's as standouts as much as it was. It was just Gibbs and Penske. Now it seems like you got some Hendrick cars in there, Stewart-Haas cars are fast. The field has gotten closer, so it's harder to show that dominance that we did in the beginning of the season from laps led and stage wins. But I feel like we're a lot smoother as a team right now than we were early in the season.
Talk to me about the consistency in the stages, because when I look at the points gap, it's 18 points between you leading Kyle Busch, and then everybody else is 67 back. That's over a full race. So tell me a little bit about the philosophy of when you guys go to the racetrack, you have 2 wins, you're locked in. So are you looking to get as much out of the stages, or would you rather have the points that come with the win?
I think it depends on the day, right? If it looks like you're going to win the race, you kind of all or nothing it, right? You go for those 5 playoff points, go for the race win. And if there's times that you're not that fast, then you try to just maximize your points throughout the day, whether that's through stages or your finish. And that's what we've been able to do and be fairly consistent with that. Sonoma comes to my mind. We had an alternator issue. The belt came off the alternator. We had a battery die. And we finished, we had to make a green flag pit stop. We finished like last car in the lead lap. But we scored stage points in 2 stages, which still gave us a decent amount of points. It wasn't a complete loss, which kept us in the points race. That regular season championship means a lot. It's 15 playoff points. That's a big deal. So we're racing hard to try to get those. It's 3 wins. So is the amount of points that is. So it's not all or nothing racing for us. Points still mean something, but you got to take the wins when you can as well.
That regular season points championship, 15 playoff points go with you to the playoffs. How big is that when you look back on last year? And I think it's unfair to say that you had to claw your way through the playoffs, but I mean, you had to race hard every single week. What will that be like if you're able to secure those 15 points and help yourself move through those rounds easier?
It's just a security blanket. That's what you're trying to get. That's what the first 26 races are for, is to, one, get yourself in the playoffs, and then how do you just get a little more secure? Because those points aren't just for our first round, they're for each round until you get to Miami. So those race wins and those playoff points, stage wins, whenever you can get them, are so big, because it's your blanket in case something goes wrong, right? Say you go to the first race in the playoffs and, I don't know, something breaks on your car and you finish last and you get no points. You might make it to the next round by 1 or 2 points, right? And then you're gonna say, well, that was because of the playoff points that we got. That's because of that race win, or that's because of our consistency through the rest of the season that got us there. And that's what the system's all about, right? It's there so when you look at these first 26 races and somebody wins the Daytona 500 and says, I'm in the playoffs, and they go on vacation until the playoffs start because the wins don't mean much. Well, now they do. Now they mean a ton throughout the whole season, so you have to be on it every race.
All right, man, appreciate your time. Good luck.
Yeah, man, thank you.